All right, getting ready for a Toasty Tuesday update. Hey everyone, meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. This is your Tuesday afternoon update. There is going to be, after all of this heat, a risk of severe thunderstorms in our region as we go from our Wednesday night and again on Thursday. And would you believe it? We're going to see some significant moisture chances, but some of that moisture may fall in the form of flakes. Your forecast is coming up right now. But first, my friends at Robert Gibbons Sons want to thank firefighters, police officers, EMTs, hospital staff. We appreciate and support all of you. First responders, get up to $400 off. Call Robert Gibbons Sons today to find out more information. Those temperatures right now soaring to near 100 within 3 degrees out at the Grand Forks Airport. Look at Howlock right there in the mix as well. From Badette to Warroad and Roseau, temperatures near 90 degrees. Fargo-Moorhead, it is 93 as we head into our afternoon drive home. Park Rapids, 88. Bemidji also in those upper 80s. Now, Minneapolis, 84 degrees. As you go to St. Cloud, it starts warming up. Montevideo, you have 91 in Sisseton, and out in Aberdeen, 90 degrees. Things are cooling off, and in a big way out in Montana, where we have 60s and low 70s in Miles City and Glendive, Plentywood. 68 degrees, and up to the north just a little bit cooler. So here's what's going on right now with regards to our temperatures. Now let's take a look at those winds. They've been gusty once again throughout the day today. And then we'll talk a little bit about our forecast. If you do have a question on Hutch's weather, I'd love to have you drop a comment right here. Matthew, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching on my Facebook channel there. Go ahead and hit the follow button for all of you out there. Now, those gusts from the south continue to rip upwards of 40 miles per hour in Grand Forks, 37 miles per hour in Aberdeen. So the strongest winds in the eastern Dakotas and parts of western Minnesota, calming down just a little bit out to the west. As we take a look at the visible satellite loop over the region, what we're going to notice is the wind has picked up some dirt in the atmosphere as we've gone through the past couple of days. That has been the case once again today, but the majority of that starting to wane just a little bit with the wind speeds. Now you can see some milky tan colors right here that are clearing out just a bit. That is a sign that some of that energy in the atmosphere that's kicking up the dust and dirt starting to wane a bit. But look at the increase in clouds out in the western Dakotas. Let's see if that equates to some rain out there on the latest radar scans. Now, as we take a look at this out to the west, we had some strong thunderstorms in Glendive, Montana yesterday. And as we take a look at what's going on right now, we have to go all the way out to Billings before we see some appreciable showers and snow up there as we cross into the south central parts of Montana and to northern parts of Wyoming. A very wet day from the Indianapolis area down through all the way south into Nashville and toward the east coast, where the nation's capital is bracing for some thunderstorms working their way in. So there's no sign of anything too huge on here, but this is the point. We have a chance of a little bit of everything. Nathan Melander, thank you for joining. When will the rain start? Let's get right to the answer to your question with the 24 to 48 hour period first, because it will start out west. And in starting with your question, there is a risk of severe weather. So we'll point out the day 2 risk for severe thunderstorms as we go into the day on Wednesday. Notice this, Bismarck all the way down to near Omaha. It does include Sioux City, Iowa, Sioux Falls. This yellow area is a slight risk of severe weather. So the Jamestown to Bismarck corridor, and also Ellendale, Oaks, and well, maybe even Gwinner, all the way out towards Sisseton, down into the Sioux Falls area. This area has a reasonable chance at seeing several thunderstorms become strong to severe. Now, what does that mean? We could have 1-inch diameter hail, maybe a little larger. Gusty winds upwards of 60 miles per hour, maybe a little stronger. Hi from 281. Tom, good to have you on board. Thanks so much for joining us there on the Highway 281 corridor. Good to have you as well. Jason, thanks for joining. Enough of the wind already, I can tell you that. South winds will keep things on the strong side here as well, and it's those south winds that will bring the moisture. So this is a look at the severe risk as we go into tomorrow and tomorrow night. Now the storms fire in the central part of the Dakotas late at night, and toward morning they will be making their way into the Red River Valley and parts of Minnesota, but some of us may not see anything until we get to Thursday. The severe risk on Thursday, at this time is out of our viewing area, and it does look like northern portions of Wisconsin, all the way from not far from the area in and around Madison, straight north towards Wausau, and on in towards Rhinelander, Rice Lake, Hayward, and Eau Claire. Eau Claire also in this area of enhanced risk for severe weather. We could see a few tornadoes. A couple of them could be strong. That's surrounded by that slight risk, or a level 2 on a 5-level scale. The orange, by the way, level 3 on that 5-level scale. Notice Minneapolis is just in this marginal risk area in the green, and that's what Fargo was in the day before. Let's get to that hour-by-hour forecast and show you for the northern plains here where these storms are most likely to be roaming as we go into the day on Wednesday, particularly the latter part of the day. So here we go. South winds in Minnesota will be strongest. Thank you for the stars, David Martinson. I sure appreciate your showing of support for Hutch's weather. I do have exciting announcements in the offing coming up here very, very soon, and I'll continue to keep, well, doing everything I can to grow and reach more and more of you with what I feel is pretty important information. Notice the low pressure center sitting up shop right here as we go through Tuesday in the central and northeast Dakotas. Down here is where things really start to get fired up as we go, whoopsies, I'm going the wrong way, as we go into the day on Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, showers across Montana. You see the blue? That's flakes of snow in the elevated terrain out west. Now, rain showers, not storms, develop on the backside of the system. We'll already have north winds in Montana. Cooling winds, big time cooler weather there. South winds, anywhere we still have the south winds flowing, then we have that energy in the atmosphere and additional moisture on the way that could fuel some strong to severe storms. As we go through the midday hour, here's one in the afternoon, a few thunderstorms start forming associated with this low pressure center here in South Dakota. And those are the ones that could bring some chances of hail. Gusty straight line winds and even an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Now, notice where this is as we head toward the drive time home. Just approaching the Bismarck-Mandan area, there's Sioux County, Grant County. So if you're in the Flasher area, if you are out in New Leipzig and on out towards New Salem, Sioux, maybe a little bit of a dash of rain. Notice southwest North Dakota, not seeing much. As we go into the 10 o'clock time frame, these storms will be pushing out into the James River Valley. A few of these could still be severe. This line here blasting through portions of Sioux Falls, Sioux City, Iowa. This looks like it could produce some gusty straight line wind potential. Notice a strong storm threat here seems to fizzle out as we head into the late night hours. Now, this long line of windy thunderstorms will work its way into central parts of Minnesota as we start the day at 6 in the morning. Still no raindrops in the northern part of Dakota, but I will point this out. The low pressure system being here, meaning in our Minnesota counties, including Fargo, Grand Forks, and all of Minnesota, will still have south wind. And that south wind will continue to bring warmer air. It will continue to bring air with more moisture. So I do think we'll have a chance in the afternoon hours, this is still morning, for a couple of these storms that form here in the south winds to be strong, to maybe even severe. Now, as this transition takes hold, central and western North Dakota will already be getting a north wind, and that will cut off the energy in the atmosphere. This is just going to be some cool rain showers, much needed rain showers after this wave of heat in our area. Now, what's coming on the backside of this system is also very interesting, and it does come with a chance for some significant cold. Significant enough where the European model says weekend flakes are upon us. For a few, not for all. So here's the European model's rendition of the forecast. As we go through Thursday, notice the stout thunder showers passing across northern parts of Minnesota, a little bit different than a high resolution model I showed before. So I do believe there'll be a chance for some Thursday afternoon thunder in Lakes Country in central Minnesota, maybe as far east as Becker and Otter Tail County to see stout thunderstorms. Then this north wind takes hold and the cold takes hold as we go into Friday morning. So it'll be a cool day. Do you see this? Brandon, Manitoba, Estevan, that's right. And Jeanette, I'm going to try not to say the S word, but that looks like frozen precipitous precipitation working its way across. This is Friday night into Saturday morning. Look at it sneaking down. Cold enough air, according to this, for a few flakes to mix in. Do I think this is going to be accumulating on your roads and streets? Not so much so in North Dakota, but do you see the heavier snow up here in Winnipeg? There's Brandon, Manitoba saying, Did we order this, Hutch Johnson? I don't think so. And it continues off in towards Winnipeg. And this band of snow here along the Highway 2 corridor just west of Grand Forks, this model, the European model, is the only one that shows it being as stout as this, as strong of snow associated with this colder air mass making its way in. I'll say this, I think there's a reasonable chance along the international border and points north for a little bit of accumulation on the grassy areas because this lasts. Did you see this? Friday night, boom, changing to snow. Saturday morning, there's a few flakes on the backside of the system. As we go into the midday hour, this is pretty interesting because that's when the heat of the day is on and it's still showing some snow on this European model. So suffice it to say, the best chance at seeing some appreciable accumulations will be up to the north. Let me show you what this particular model shows for the potential for snow. This is still a long ways out. And this doesn't mean that it will last too long once it hits its way onto the ground. But do you see that? Okay, once again, I'll say if you see 2 or 3 inches of snow, it doesn't mean you're going to be shoveling all day, but certainly some flakes will mix in that forecast as we go into your Sunday morning across the northern part of North Dakota. This model, the European model, even says Fargo might see a flake mixing in. I'm not betting on that opportunity or chance. So now let's take a look at your forecast. And before we do, I do want to thank each and every one of you for uploading your photos to hutchesweather.com. Hutchesweather.com, a great place to share what you're seeing in the weather outdoors. Kathy says, hi, Northeast Minnesota needs rain for the forest fires that's going on. Hope the north gets tons of rain. There is a good chance of rain with everything we just showed you. Let me go ahead and show you the forecast for rainfall that will be accompanying this storm. Here we go. Central North Dakota from Minot and Bismarck and points west will have rapidly diminishing returns on rainfall potential Wednesday through Saturday. Thank you for the correction. I had this saying April yesterday, but it is now May. I don't know where my mind has been outside in the hot sun. So between Wednesday and Saturday, the rainfall amounts here are not going to be every location that you see in red getting 3 inches of rain or liquid equivalent moisture. What it means is in pockets of the heavier precipitation, a good 1 to 2 inches is going to be highly likely for many. A few of us could see 3 or more inches of rain over this several day period. Wednesday, mainly in the nighttime hours, as you saw on the forecast. Thursday, all-day rain showers. Friday, all-day rain and then mixing with snow as we go into Saturday up north. In the Red River Valley in northwest Minnesota, it becomes a little more splotchy with the amounts. Where you see the blue, we get a few tenths of an inch, Kathy, for your area. And I'm not sure what part of northeastern Minnesota that you're speaking of, but northeastern Minnesota up here, we'll get some rain as we go through this period as this slow-moving storm system winds its way out, but it will be lighter than what we're going to see across the Dakotas. In the Southern Valley and Lakes Country, we will have a chance for some appreciable moisture over 1/2 of an inch by the time we go through that several day period. Again, it won't all come at once, so don't expect to walk to your rain gauge on, say, Wednesday night or Thursday morning and see anything in Fargo. It will likely be Thursday in the afternoon and mid-morning hours when we start seeing some rain showers. I hope that's clear. And Kathy, thank you for your question. Jolene says 50. No S word. All right, this is an all request Tuesday out here on Hutch's Weather. Now let's take a look at your forecast. And I do want to point out the fact that we do have some ups and downs in this wild 7-day planner. Let's start with tomorrow. Another record-breaking hot day potentially here in the valley. 66 to start your day in Grand Forks. Out in the eastern parts of Minnesota, some 50s on the north shore. Still in the 60s to near 70 for most of the eastern Dakotas and western Minnesota. A few clouds will be building in, as you saw out in our western counties. And look at the cool pool of air starting to work its way back in, 40s and 50s returning out in the big sky country of Montana. Look at those highs out there, still above average for this time of the year, but we're talking closer to 75 to 80 degrees out in Montana. Here's the line. That's where the heat is on. Those south winds will fuel severe thunderstorm risks right here in the central Dakotas. They start in the afternoon and evening hours, and work their way slowly eastward and particularly down towards the I-29 corridor near Sioux Falls and Sioux City. Severe weather for Wahpeton, ? Dan. The risk of severe weather in Wahpeton or thunderstorms at all will likely happen in the wee hours of the morning, and the chances in the wee hours of the morning generally drop in our neck of the woods, and I do think that will be the case. I do think Thursday afternoon will bring a few strong thunderstorms, but the best chance will be in central Minnesota. Sheila, hi Hutch, how cold is it supposed to be in Wheaton? All right, let's talk about this. On Thursday and Friday of this week, we do have some Wheaton, Minnesota changes. So this is Wednesday, okay? Thursday, let me show you the 7-day planner. This is for Fargo, and you'll be close to this in the Wheaton area. Wednesday, still near record high temperatures. Fargo's record for Wednesday, 93. So I think we'll tie that puppy. On Thursday, we will have a high temperature in the mid-morning to early afternoon time frame of 75 degrees, and I got the old down arrow out. I even got the blue highlight here for some frost potential and freeze potential on Sunday morning. For some of you up north, it may come on Saturday morning as well. Areas of frost and light snow showers. See my snowflake I've added there? Goodness gracious. Northern Grace, thanks for joining me on Hutch's Weather right here on my YouTube channel. Yeah, these winds, oof, look like a blast furnace out there, and it's just drying up everything, taking the topsoil. But we do have some good moisture on the way. It begins late Wednesday night in the western and central Dakotas. I think the closest it gets to Fargo will be somewhere between Jamestown and Valley City as we go into Wednesday evening. But by Thursday mid-morning, there's a chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms in our area. Not likely to be severe at that point, but as we get the energy of the day in the central part of Minnesota, I think a few of those could be strong, maybe even marginally severe. Temperatures falling down into the 40s for your Friday. It looks like a gray day and a soaking wet shower day for many. It's not going to rain heavy all day on Friday, but there'll be periods of moderate rainfall, and it will last and it will accumulate in your rain gauge. So get your cameras and your rain gauges handy, Sheila, as we'll see temperatures in and around that Wheaton area falling from those 70s on Thursday all the way down into the 50s on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, this snow system up north, not in Fargo, but up north near the international border will exit, leaving us all with a chance of some widespread frost. So if you've been planting and digging like Hutch has, look at my nails. They are dirty because I've been playing in the mud and the fun outside. But I will tell you, you're going to have to watch those plants out there. Ethan says, hey, heard that there was some wildfires going on in Minnesota since the past week. Indeed, there are some wildfires out there across the area, and they are adding to some smoke in the atmosphere as well. So the rain will be much needed. Thunder, though, can actually ignite dry vegetation as well. So that's something to behold and pay attention to there. The latter part of our Eventide Senior Living 7-day planner shows that we're going to be steady in the 40s and 50s from the weekend and into early next week. We stay cool. There's another system coming on the heels of this wet system, but the track now looks a little bit farther to the south. So that's what I'm seeing with regards to our forecast. So let's take a look at what's going on now one more time with regards to our local weather. And I do want to take this chance to remind you on hutchesweather.com. It is a wonderful place for you to get the very latest information on the rain and even snow showers in the elevated terrain, what's going on in the Rocky Mountains out there, thunderstorms approaching Bismarck. Now, as we look at the radar in our neck of the woods, I'm not seeing much in the way of anything in particular that's too interesting for us. So it's a very dry, hot wind blast furnace kind of day, you all called it. Whenever Hutch is live, by the way, it shows up on Hutch's Weather right there that I am live, and you can watch by just clicking on that video anytime, anywhere, on any device if you've got the website loaded up. Please keep in mind my very fine sponsors across the top of the board, and I cannot go without letting you know it's getting to be that time of year where you're getting the yard looking good and you're looking at your trees, scratching your head and going, I wonder if I should do some trimming on this tree. Slim's Tree Care, that is the person to call. Tree risk assessment qualified. Not only that, Slim is an expert when it comes to climbing trees and make sure they fall where they're supposed to fall. Bonded, insured. Give Slim a call. You can get contact information by clicking on Slim's logo right there on hutchesweather.com. Couple of things to point out. You can sign up too to be a Hutch's Weather Kid if you're between the ages of 8 and 18. I'm sorry, 19 to 55-year-olds out there. And this is where you go to upload your photos on Hutch's Weather as well. And an exciting new announcement. Check this out. My friends at iNews now have a spot on hutchesweather.com. So if you want to get the news and weather all in one location, this is the spot for you. Let me know your feedback on that. Drop your comments right here in the comments section. Now, let's see. Ethan says, it's been absolutely ridiculous for the past 3 or 4 days with this heat. Walked from Dilworth to Fargo on Mother's Day, and that wind it was drying. I mean, my eyes felt like they were going to fall out of their sockets. All right, let's take one more look at the visible satellite loop. If we look careful and forget about the dirt here, we would be able to see that there may be a few places where we do have some smoke forming. Look at this. Boom. North Shore, huge amounts of smoke. Those are forest fire sources right there. So we have a couple of wildfires going on here, and it looks like a new one festering up right here. You see that? That's what smoke from fires looks like on the good old-fashioned visible satellite imagery here. So it can be another tool to help us see where these hot spots are. And again, across the entire region, I will remind you that we do have some burn concern across our area. We have red flag warnings for all of this wind that are out there. And here is a look at the red counties that are all in this red flag warning for wind, dry vegetation, and low relative humidities. So we last looked at our severe weather risk. Again, this is for day 3, so not tomorrow, which is day 2, but this would be into your day on Thursday. Wisconsin, be prepared to stay informed of the weather changes. It'll be ongoing there. And this does sneak down, by the way, for those of you who have tuned into Hutch's Weather from portions of Illinois and Indiana, particularly Fort Wayne and the Chicago area, as well as most of the mitten of Michigan right behind Hutch. Brad says, what do we see for frost in the column, or is it a coin toss? Well, I can show you a look at some of the temperatures that we're expecting here to give you an idea, Brad. But as we go into the weekend, let me pull up the model. And again, thank you for your questions. I do appreciate them, and I appreciate being having the opportunity to try to do my best to give you an answer here. Let's go out, and I'm going to use the European model because going out that many days, I kind of like the way it handles some of the weather systems. So let's just do this. Now, as we are looking at the chance for frost, what you're going to start seeing is some 30s start showing in here as we go into Friday morning. So this model says not so much a chance of frost everywhere, but it does have, this is Harvey in Wells County here at a 38-degree reading. So if you're checking in on the Cullum area here, it does look like we'll have some temperatures in the 40s, but I don't think frost. Now, as we go into the morning hours on Friday night late, it starts dropping down into the abyss. We're talking below freezing in a few spots up here in that area of southern Manitoba. So we're talking from Brandon, Manitoba, right into Winnipeg, and all points in towards Langdon, Walhalla, and maybe as far south as the Devil's Lake Basin. So there'll be a chance of some Saturday morning frost up north. Now, if you are in the Cullum area, again, mid-30s means low-lying areas could see some frost as we go through as well. We will warm up a little bit, but only modestly so. And look at this nonsense. More widespread blue means more widespread frost chance. This does include Fargo. It does include Grand Forks. It does include Richland County. See that 34 that you see there in Fergus Falls? It does include you in patchy areas. Frost is going to be on the menu, whether we like to chew it or not. That's the way it looks. And we're talking 20s, which is a hard freeze. So if there are seeds in the ground and you got 20s out here along the international border, including up near Belcourt, Bottineau, as well as you folks up in the Langdon and Walhalla area, you might want to think about bringing in or covering those brand new plants that you just planted out there. And that's why Hutch has it highlighted on the 7-day planner. So that's a quick look, not really a quick look, a very extensive look at our weather. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you joining in. John Hummingbird says, Burr, how long are these wildfires going to last? Will the rain take effect on them? The rain will have an impact, but this wind has been terrible. So if we can get this nice Generally, in northern Minnesota, those point source fires I showed you in the Arrowhead will not see rain chances until we get into the midday time on Thursday sometime, and they will still be windy there. So that's still a concern. They got to hit the fires with the heavy rain, and thunderstorms, as you know, can be hit and miss. So, Ethan, that's the thoughts on that from Hutch. That's what I'm thinking. Yes, I do think it could definitely continue to bring an impact, but the problem will be if it doesn't put the fires out, the winds will get very strong out of the north on the backside or west side of this storm system as it moves through. That's a look at your weather. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson, thanking you for supporting Hutch's weather in all aspects, including sharing the word of mouth that Hutch is still here watching the weather for you. HutchesWeather.com, your one-stop shopping for not only weather information, but news from my friends at iNews. Follow Hutch on Facebook. It really helps me out. And believe it or not, I'm only 300 away from the next step, which is 62,000 of you. So thanks to all of you who have, well, you've clicked the follow button on Hutch's Facebook page. And for the YouTube channel, growing strong, over 7,000 there. Would love to have you hit the subscribe button on that. For now, have a great afternoon. I hope you enjoy your day. Thanks, James. Thanks, Northern Grace. Appreciate all of you watching. And absolutely, this is a concern, says Ethan. Indeed, the fires are a concern. We'll keep watching that and see how things transpire. It's hard to see the fires on the satellite imagery when those clouds take hold, but they are exactly what the doctor ordered. Have a good evening. I'll be updating you here a little bit later on all of our unsettled weather right here.